What's up, everybody? Welcome back into TK Wrestling. Matt is very excited about this super extra long Labor Day weekend that we just had.
Huge.
Packed with wrestling. All weekend
Huge.
long.
Dude.
Matt, you got a little 3-day weekend off from the main gig, and we got to watch a lot of wrestling while we were doing, while we had that little break. So
got to watch some wrestling, got to watch college football start. McNeese whooping butt in their first game. That was nice.
Yeah. What was it, like 54 to something?
54 to 9. Most yards they've ever put up in a game. Now, albeit it was Louisiana Christian. It wasn't, some powerhouse school, but still great warm-up game. Can't wait till next week against ULL.
Yeah, it was first time in 60-something years that they played each other? Or maybe not that long, but it's been a long time. 40-something years maybe?
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Next week's a real test, but a great tune-up game. Getting ready for you. They go to Lafayette, so that'll be fun. But, yeah, like I said, great weekend of wrestling. I mean, dude, starting with SmackDown on Friday to all the way to, Raw was, I told you, I thought Raw was a little bit of a mixed bag. I think I was higher on Clash in Paris. You told me some people Clash in Paris, it's been kind of a mixed bag for them. I thought Clash in Paris was right up there, with like Evolution. I thought it was, top PLE of the year. So I don't know. Where do you want to start, Casey? What do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, well, let's talk about Friday Night SmackDown. Let's talk about, we don't have to dive too much into it because it's been a few days since, but
and a lot of that stuff has been resolved, but the big thing.
And the big thing coming out of it is Sami Zayn becoming the United States champion for the first time in his career after so long being in the company. He's had multiple shots at the title, never won the whole thing. I had to check that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. I think that was the first time he's won the United States title. And look, dude, a guy that more than a lot of guys in the company right now deserves a shot with a championship. And from what I'm reading on the dirt sheets and according to reports, this is sort of a test run with Sami to see how he does with the title, because as of right now, he's penciled in as the favorite to win the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia coming up in January.
All right.
Well, it's in Saudi Arabia.
Well, no, I can see that changing down.
There's
a lot of things are on the horizon, maybe, but I think we both were kind of putting Punk maybe as a Royal Rumble winner. So
I did.
But obviously the Punk horizon has shifted in the last 40 years or so.
Yeah. Monday Night Raw and Clash in Paris, which we'll talk about, really changed a lot of what could possibly be going on. Punk was, like you said, until maybe 48 to 72 hours ago, probably my pick to win the Rumble. And now I'm not so sure. Maybe Sami is going to be that guy. I'm really curious to see who Sami would go against, though. Maybe it would be Cody Rhodes on the SmackDown side. I don't know. That'd be something we would talk about more, obviously, into the Royal Rumble season. But yeah, Sami Zayn becoming the new United States champion, defeating his former Bloodline member, cohort in Solo Sikoa as well. So a lot of family history there as well. But really happy to see Sami pick up this title win. I'm glad that we're done with the underdog character for Sami Zayn, because I think we have too long been the underdog character, and at some point we have to ask ourselves, when does somebody become a favorite instead of an underdog? And I think the WWE did a really good job transitioning Sami into that, and if they are aiming for a world title reign for Sami, I think this is a really, really, really good start. We saw it happen with Jey Uso. Jey Uso had a really short Intercontinental Championship reign to see kind of how he would deal with that, and then later on got the World Heavyweight title reign, albeit both were very short, but Jey is the type of babyface you don't really have to have a title on him.
He's legit now, like main event Jey Uso. You expect him to be in things even if he doesn't have things.
100%. But yeah, that was the big story coming out of SmackDown. And that leads us into the rest of the weekend, starting with Clash in Paris.
Hold on. Here's my one thing about Sami, right? Like I said, I agree 100% with almost everything he said about Sami, except I've been thinking about this. All right, first off, what did the Karrion Kross thing actually do? Like this whole, it didn't make him any tougher, didn't make him any meaner. It didn't really go anywhere. It kind of delayed this, because think about what started the Karrion Kross thing, right? It's when Seth went up to Sami and said, "Hey, man, why don't you move to SmackDown and go for a title?" And what did Sami say? No. And what's the next thing that we got? After Karrion Kross, he moves to SmackDown and wins a title. So that's just all I'm saying. I don't know if I've heard anybody talking about that, but that was exactly what Seth offered him in a sense. So I'm not sure what it means since Sami ended up moving to SmackDown anyways. He held his ground till he didn't or something, I feel like that's been glossed over maybe, so.
Well, I think the big reason for that may be because Karrion's released, maybe there was more that was going to happen, and maybe a lot of that got put on the back burner or just shelved completely with Karrion being released and, not getting a new
I
contract.
mean, what do you think about, like, just Sammy moving to SmackDown? Because, like, it was kind of unceremoniously done. It
Mhm.
just, it just happened. Yeah, I guess, like I said, we're not getting a draft this year. We're just maybe going to move pieces when we need to. Maybe the whole draft idea is done, and that's the way going forward. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, I'm just curious because it feels like I said, nobody's talking about that. Like, it was like a big stand of Sammy's to be like, no, Seth, I'm not going to SmackDown. I'm staying here. And then it's like, poof, I'm in SmackDown. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my only thing about it. I mean, like I said, I love it all for Sammy. For me, I feel like that's like a plot hole that nobody's talked about.
I get where you're coming from too, and I do think that Sammy moving to SmackDown was the right move. I think that he had probably ran out pretty much everything he could do on Monday Night Raw for now. So I
Right.
think that moving Sammy to SmackDown was the right move. But I do agree with you that it was done rather unceremoniously and kind of weird. It was a little strange the way they did it, and then to just basically say, "Oh yeah, new fresh to SmackDown." Now you're the champion. While I love it, it is a little different than I thought we were going with Sammy for now. So, but like I heard through the rumor mill, this is apparently a test run to see what we're gonna do for Royal Rumble season because they're trying to finalize those plans very soon. And as of right now, Sammy and Punk seem like the two favorites to maybe win the whole thing. Maybe Randy Orton again. Maybe Randy gets that elusive third Royal Rumble win and joins Stone Cold Steve Austin as the only two. I think they're the only two men to win it 3 times. So who knows?
Okay, the only other things for SmackDown I want to talk about real fast is Alexa Bliss match, with Chelsea. Feel like I said, I like that rivalry right now that's building between the Secret Hervis
Hmm.
and Alexa and Charlotte. So I like that. Like I said, I who Alexa Bliss is the only person who can make Charlotte obviously a face, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you've never she was so heel she was dropping lines, dude. She was so heel she was dropping lines in the Tiffany strip. Now she's her and Alexa, she's loved. It's crazy that change and how fast it happened, maybe. So I just want to bring that up about SmackDown. Just I like how that's working out. I'm digging the Secret Hervis more and more. I'm digging like I didn't like Chelsea Green, I think, when I started watching WWE, and she's somebody who's slowly grown on me. I like her character. I like her work, so I'm for that. And then the other thing, like I said, you mentioned Randy Orton. When are we getting the Drew McIntyre Randy Orton match? Have they said? Do we know when we're getting that?
No, but I would assume it's probably WrestlePalooza.
I mean, that's what I'm guessing. But man, I'm so ready for that. And that leads us to Cena and Paul on the mic on SmackDown yet again. Great promos cut by both of them leading into Clash in Paris. And I don't know what you want to talk about first, but man, like I said, that promo yet again, like Cena is doing some great work, and Logan Paul got to bring it all out. Like this. We're gonna talk about Clash in Paris, but where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? You want to start with the first match? We'll start with Braun and Roman.
Yeah, that's cool. We can start with Braun and Roman.
I
All
mean,
right, so
who'd you take in this one again? I
Bronson
can't remember.
Reed. Sorry,
Yeah,
you said
I
Braun,
mean, I
and
did
my
say
brain went
Braun. My
Braun
bad,
Strowman.
Bronson. Yeah, Bronson. Yeah.
Braun Strowman. Oh man, miss you, buddy. What were you asking though?
Who'd you take in this one? Did you take
We both
Reed or
took Bronson. Yeah,
we
we
told
both
both
took
took Bronson? I
Bronson.
thought we both did.
Yep.
Man, were we wrong? But were we
Yeah.
right? I don't know.
I think it was a little bit of a mixture. I said there was going to be a beatdown. I just thought it was going to happen after Bronson Reed picked up his win. So it does what it needs to do. I'm not too terribly upset about it, and it does set us up for Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns going forward, which I thought may be the move at some point. But yeah, I was just really hoping they would pull the trigger on Bronson and let him get that
I
big
mean,
win.
for me, it's like, look, it's like it just kills the tribal thief thing in a sense, right?
Mm.
Like I mean, he had this motif going. You give him that win, he steals the shoes and whatnot. He can be the tribal thief for the next 6 months. While Roman's out. Now, like that gimmick's dead, right? I mean, you can't
Well,
still call him the tribal thief, can you?
yeah, but I don't think Roman's going to be. I don't think Roman's going to be out that long. I think
Well,
he's maybe
however
going to be
long he's
gone.
out, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
However
think
long.
he's probably back at WrestlePalooza.
Yeah. Okay. You think he's back in 3 weeks? Okay.
The first event on ESPN with
Nah,
the
I
with
mean,
the
yeah, but I mean, everybody's got to miss something. Was like,
yeah, but
I
that's
mean,
3 weeks. How long do we need him? I mean, shoot, CM Punk didn't miss
I don't
that
know,
long when
man.
he
I
took
mean, he got slammed on that medical board twice by the
no doubt,
tsunami.
no
Twice.
doubt.
I mean, wow. He took that beating like a champ, dude. I mean that can't feel good. That doesn't have the give, that the
No,
that the wrestling mat does. So he took two of them on the board. And
And then the multiple spears, yeah.
and that post match lasted longer than like I think the tag team.
Yeah, it might have. I'd have to go back and look. But man, I think I wanna say, before we dive too much into it, no surprise, but man, this crowd was so
Oh,
fantastic.
dude, dude. I mean,
It's
all the. I mean, it makes me. I don't want to ever move to France, but it makes me want to move to France because I feel like every WWE event. I mean, I guess they'd eventually get tired, but man,
I
they
don't know,
sold
man.
out. They sold out last night. They sold out at Clash in Paris. It was just phenomenal
I feel like they
crowds.
could have a whole week straight of events and probably sell out of everything.
Right, right.
And I mean, at this point, give Paris a WrestleMania. I don't know that we've had a city in another country that, other than maybe Puerto Rico, but I doubt you would never do a WrestleMania in Puerto Rico. But I think that out of every city that we've seen from a foreign country, no country or no city has come close to Paris. It hasn't even been remotely close. Like Puerto Rico was close, and it's not close to Paris, if that makes sense. So it's just, man, I was expecting a great crowd, and they exceeded expectations times two. I mean, you saw. We'll talk a little bit about it later, but what they did for AJ on Monday Night Raw, dude, they sang the phenomenal song
Right.
or the chant or whatever you want to call it. They sang that for like 10 minutes straight.
No, no,
It
like
was
yeah, no, they went to
crazy.
commercial break and came back and they were still singing it.
Yeah, the
So
whole arena just rocking. AJ, last time they did it, AJ no sold it, but this time he just couldn't help himself and he was just all in it. I don't know how you couldn't be with
no,
how electric that crowd is.
no, dude. I mean, like I was just thinking, like how awesome it must be to wrestle in front of a crowd like this. Like, my God, just just everybody cheering like left and right, centered, like hitting all the notes, all the yeah,
Dude,
yeet, yeah, yeet.
and we'll talk about it
Just
in a second too, but they even rapped John Cena's entrance when he
right.
came out. That caught me off guard. That threw me for a loop because I've never, and I mean never in my 30 years of existence, heard a crowd rap John Cena's theme song to him. And sure, it was a little off, but massive stadium with a bunch of echo coming back. Considering that, it was excellent, dude. And even Cena was taken aback when it happened. So yeah, Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns, I think it did what it needed to do. I wish that it would have just done what it needed to do with the Bronson Reed win attached to it, is
No,
all.
like I said, I think SmackDown, like I think Drew brought Randy out because he goes, I know y'all want to sing a song,
Yeah.
and that's how he brought Randy out so they could all sing,
And they did exactly that. Screamed
exactly.
it. Yeah. They screamed it. But yeah, I mean, look, going forward, I mean, obviously with what happened on Monday Night Raw, I think we can gather what we know is going to happen with Braun and Bronson.
Hmm.
But I think that for now, this is Roman getting written off TV and making Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker look strong, even though Bronson took the loss. So look, I think this checked all the boxes, did exactly what it needed to do.
See, I still think Bronson should have won. That's my thing. I still think he should have won because, like, I don't know what happens. Like, okay, if Roman's back by WrestlePalooza, then I'm wrong. I feel like he's gone a little longer than WrestlePalooza. I could be wrong. He may be back for that. But I feel like, what's the box then? Like, is Bronson going to wrestle him and then win this time? Because, like, you got to give him a win
Mm-mm.
over Roman. Otherwise,
No,
you
no,
never
I
give him
don't think Roman's gonna be involved with Bronson or Braun Breaker at
when he comes back.
WrestlePalooza. Well, I think he will eventually, but I just don't
Right.
think he'll be in a match with them at WrestlePalooza.
No, not WrestlePalooza, but I'm just saying, like, when you put them together the next time, are you going to have Bronson Reed lose again? Sort of thing. Like,
Well,
because if you
I
had him,
don't. Go ahead. Sorry.
like I say, if you had him win the first time, then I want Roman to get that rematch, to get some blood back. But now it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like in some ways, I've seen the members of the Vision take too many pins already. Between him and Braun Breaker. Now don't get me wrong, some of them have been over extreme situations. Like I said, that gauntlet match that Braun lost.
Mm.
But I feel like the members of the Vision have to get a win, and so and they, I mean, so anyways,
Yeah.
uh,
So, one thing I could see. Let's fantasy book here for a second. One thing I could see is we get Braun and Bronson in a tag match
well, I mean,
again.
like I said, we got them Monday night. I mean, like I said, they won Monday night against Jay
Well,
and
I'm saying for
LA.
WrestlePalooza. I could
Right.
see Braun and Bronson in a tag match against two specific people that kind of teased that that's what we're probably going to get after Monday Night Raw. And then Roman probably gets involved in that. But we'll talk
Oh,
about that
with
more
Jimmy and
after
Jay.
the Well, we'll talk about
All right.
more after the main
All right.
event. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get more into it later. But let's jump into the tag team championship match. It was the Wyatt Six against the Street Profits. And look, Wyatt Six ended up picking up the win. The crowd was hot for the Street Profits. I mean, did you just see the
Oh
little
yeah. Oh yeah. They're
dude,
loving
they
Montez.
the whole crowd, like the whole stadium just doing it with him. It was awesome. Street Profits are breaking up soon. The
Yeah, no,
demise is on the
that seemed
horizon.
obvious. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was that's the most obvious takeaway from this match. Like it
100%.
was it was decent. Like if people who didn't like this PLE, this would be I think one of the matches they might put on that list as being like this was it did what it did. But let's be real here. The biggest thing it did was it set up that Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford are breaking up, and I haven't really gotten the reason why. I feel like that's like I mean we've seen discontent between them, but we haven't seen anything. I mean, if I missed a backstage segment, or something, I don't know if we've gotten any reason besides they just all of a sudden haven't been getting along. So
Yeah, I'm right there with you. There
okay,
may be a backstage segment or something that I missed
right,
because I even started seeing the tension like the last few shows or whatever.
yeah, no,
But
yeah, no,
same thing. I was
it's
like,
been
man,
kind
did I
of
miss
building, but
something?
it's always building in match. It feels like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it never feels like it's ever. And then they usually win versus, I mean, not in Clash of Paris, but they usually win. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, and
I don't know.
the rumor has been for about 3 years now that they're going to break up and Montez Ford's going to go on and be a huge single star, but it just has never happened. And then they went so many years without winning the tag titles, and then they pick them back up. And I feel like everybody maybe thought that we were heading back in the direction of them staying together for a long time. But now, if you're a wrestling fan and have been for more than 30 seconds, you can see that the end is on the horizon. It's inevitable.
Now that said, it still wasn't a great match. It was the most fun I've had watching the Wyatt Six in the tag. So I mean,
Yeah,
I,
they were excellent, actually. I thought they were great. I thought they hit all their spots right,
I
and it
thought the
was like the
group work.
perfect amount.
It's the first
Yes.
time I enjoyed the group as a whole. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I feel like they were all kind of hitting their parts, like not just the two guys in the ring. So that's all I'm gonna say. Like I said, otherwise, like I said, the biggest takeaway is what? No more Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Maybe we'll find out why soon. Maybe we
Yeah.
find out on SmackDown Friday. But right now, so
All right, so here's a little fun fantasy question for you.
hmm
As a casual wrestling fan, we'll call you more than a casual wrestling fan. As a newly integrated hardcore wrestling fan, if you're starting a brand and you're drafting your rosters, you hit a spot in the draft where you have to pick Montez Ford or Angelo Dawkins. Which one are you taking?
that is tough. I guess it depends on what my roster's built up of so far because they're two.
Your roster's got a little bit of everything.
I
Right
mean,
now,
that God, that's
this is like
like, who
one
do
A,
I feel
one
like I
B.
could sell? I mean, look, I feel like they're really equal in two different ways. Like Montez Ford, immediate baby face, media put him up there, put him with the Flyers. I can do so many things with Montez Ford. Angelo Dawkins, bigger guy, obviously. I could put him on the heels. I could make him a heel really fast, or make him kind of an anti, villain sort of thing, and just make him kind of his own lone wolf. I think as a character writer, I think if I was writing one of them, I'd have more fun writing Angelo Dawkins because I would like to play that lone wolf angle of I lost Montez. I'm angry. I'm going to tear through some guys. I don't care if you're good or you're evil. I want a title.
Mm.
So, but, like if I'm a guy who just wants to write cool moves and cool matches, obviously Montez has got more of the range of what he can do.
Yeah, and I think Montez is maybe a little bit better on the mic. I think they're both really good, but I think
Hmm.
Montez is a little bit better. Now, one way I would really love to see this breakup go, because they have BFAB running behind them too.
Right.
I would love to see Angelo Dawkins and BFAB turn on Montez, and BFAB and Angelo Dawkins are the little heel, powerhouse and mouthpiece. And then I feel like that is a perfect way to bring back Bianca Belair from her injury, because Montez Ford and Bianca Belair are
Right.
married in real
Right.
life. And you don't have to keep them together on screen forever. It can just be like let's bring Bianca in, and then when they're done with this, they can separate and do their own things. And I don't know, man, that just feels perfect for me. And then you can keep BFAB and Angelo Dawkins together, because as good as Angelo is, there are still some moments on the mic where it's like, okay, give the mic back to Montez, or okay, give the mic back to BFAB. So maybe having BFAB, who really has nothing going on other than her placement in the Street Profits, and Angelo Dawkins, who maybe might get lost in the fray really quickly after the breakup, because Montez Ford is the money. That's who they've been betting there. That's the horse they've put their money on for years now. And so if you want to keep Angelo and BFAB interesting, I think keeping them together as that little heel duo where she's just like the valet and, they're there in each other's corner or whatever, I think that could work out pretty well. So if that's how it's going to happen, that's how I'd like to see it happen.
So, I mean, I really like to see Dawkins go hardcore heel and just, I'd like to see him go after, like, I could see a Dawkins Penta match. I could see a Dawkins, Sami Zayn going for that title match. I could see Dawkins Gunther, I'm curious what that might look like, and then, or who knows, Dawkins, Braun Breaker, like what's it look like when two dogs just, it's kind of like the Sheamus Rusev, which I'm sure we're going to talk about eventually, it's like two dogs just going at it. What's that going to be like? So, like you said, where I see more potential, face wise, and Montez better on the mic, I could do some fun things if they gave me control of Angelo, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that Montez could also be a great heel if that's the way you wanted to go too. I feel like
you
there's
probably
so many
could.
options.
Yeah, no,
I feel like there's so many options.
I feel like Montez though, you'd have to you got to work on turning him. Like I feel like
Well, they've been heel before, and he was pretty good at talking with his chest and then backing it up. So look, we spent a lot of time on the Street Profits. I think they're excellent. I think they're great, but we'll just have to wait and see.
We expected Street Profits. Hit us up in the comments.
Yeah. Whenever y'all break up,
Angelo, I want to book you. Hit me up.
Whenever y'all break up, come do some interviews. All right. Jumping into the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, we have the champion Becky Lynch defeating Nikki Bella, retaining the championship. Look, this match felt a little sloppy in places, but who am I to judge, right? I can't get in the ring and do any of that stuff. But it did feel like some moments were a little mistimed and maybe didn't work out exactly how they wanted it, but I feel like they did a really good job of recovering from the spots when they did happen. And look, Becky Lynch ended up picking up a quick little victory, like a roll up where she slipped out of an arm bar and then got the quick pin.
She's been doing that. That's like her new pin move is that that's
the heel thing to do, baby.
Yeah,
that's the heel thing to do. I do too. Yeah. And look, I don't want to disrespect the women at all, but this match was excellent. I don't think that, you and I talked about this match was going to be good, but on the other side of it, hindsight 2020 now, I feel like it was a decent match, but not much better than that. I felt like it served its role and served its purpose, but I think that maybe this is the end of Becky and Nikki, at least for now, going forward.
Oh yeah, no, look, if it's not, then it needs work. Because look, on the mic, these two cut some promos. In the ring, the first half of that match was rough. It was rough. It was just, I know sometimes it takes a little bit of time to build up a match and get to a point, but man, there was one point where Nikki was taking Becky's head and slamming it on the 2-ounce tables back and forth. And it was just such a bad spot. It was just, I mean,
it was not great. It was not great.
Look, but almost everything after that worked. That's the problem. Like up until that point, it was bad. Then they got back in the ring and it started working. They started hitting things and so it was kind of like a tale of two matches. Like I said, up until that point and getting back in the ring, that's like an F almost. I mean, it was bad. And then, like I said, from there on out, it was like a solid B. So, I mean, I give it like a C overall. Like I said, another one, if this was not your favorite PLE of the year, if you had problems with this PLE, I'm sure this match is on your list of matches you had a problem with. I totally get that. But it finished strong. It worked the story. And I was happy, by the end of it. So yeah, take it for what it is. We knew Nikki wasn't going to win. It's the only female match on the card. But it worked out. And it works out really well later.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we're getting into the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Rusev defeating Sheamus in match of the night, if not for Logan and Cena, maybe? This match was excellent, dude. Look, it was a car crash. It was two brutes just going at it. Some excellent fun spots. And then Rusev picking up the win at the end of the match. And they said after the bell rang, after Sheamus tapped out, I think only the second or third time in his whole career that he's actually tapped out.
I mean, I'm surprised he'd ever tapped out before, honestly. Yeah. Sheamus doesn't seem like a tap out guy. So when he tapped out,
it was probably to John Cena back in the day.
Or it was probably way 10, 15 years ago when he was coming up or something,
Yeah. Well, Sheamus was notorious because as a rookie, he was the fastest to win, or one of the fastest to win the WWE Championship. He debuted and then within 6 months, he beat John Cena in a tables match. for the WWE title, and it was like a huge shock. And since then, he's gone on to win it, I think 3 or 4 more times. But yeah, very surprised that he tapped out. But I mean, after all the damage that he had taken, it makes sense. But again, I thought this was a fun match. From the general consensus I've seen online, is that it was a pleasantly surprising, good match that a lot of people had a lot of fun watching. I thought it was excellent, and I'd go watch it again.
Yeah, no, look, like from here to the end of the card, A+. Like this, the next 3 matches for me, just woo, perfect. Like what you want out of the PLE. Like, I mean, this is when it picked up steam. You know, like I said, the middle. Like I said, I can see if you weren't too high on the tag or you weren't too high on the ladies. You know, but from here on, dude, like total just butt kicking. Only really problem I have with this match is it took a little while to get kind of the Donnybrook aspect, I guess. Like they pulled a kendo stick out early, but I was waiting for more of that. I was waiting for the shillelagh to get in there earlier, and whatnot. But yeah, dude, like I remember I was watching with Connor and he's like, dude, it's almost over. I go, nope. I go, why? He goes, there's 2 tables still out. I go, yep. You can't pull a table out unless you're going through it, my man.
You can't have a Slim Jim table set unless somebody's going through that Slim Jim
somebody's
table.
going through that Slim Jim table.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man. So like
Look
that
at Connor.
spot.
Good thinking, Connor. Yeah.
Exactly. So that spot, like I said, going off the barrels into the tables, fantastic, dude. And
yes.
then, look, the reason, like, and then, Rusev breaks the shillelagh on Sheamus's back, I mean, my God. And then the only reason I think Sheamus tapped out, or this is my impression, is that you saw where that shillelagh finished. It was in his mouth, So I wonder, I mean, look, man, if you're messing up my teeth, I'm probably tapping.
Oh, I'm tapping a lot faster than Sheamus did.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You bring that thing to my face, I'm probably tapping before you do it.
You get that on my teeth or anywhere near my teeth, I'm not playing with a new grill, That's my feel, But look, this it was fun, dude. Like, I just don't know who these guys. I just want to see more Rusev and Sheamus. I don't know where you take out of these guys afterwards. I just want to, put them in another Donnybrook match with some barbed wire. I have no idea, what to do next with them. But I mean, if you didn't like this, then I mean, what are you coming to wrestling for?
Yeah.
What are you looking for? I mean, the only thing it didn't have was some super high flying, stunts. And if you didn't like that, then you must love Logan Paul. Don't tell me you hate Logan Paul.
No, I think, look, I think that the series between these two may be over. But again, I told you, I have a really sneaking suspicion that this is going to be a tag team going forward. I think Rusev and Sheamus they've established a new respect amongst each other after that Donnybrook match. And I just wouldn't be shocked if all of a sudden we've got a new tag team in the Raw division that really needs a new tag team.
Man, so they would tear it up probably too. I mean, look, I like that idea, but I'm also not opposed to it being like, what was it, Andrade and Carmelo going 7 deep?
Yeah, well, and Sheamus has done this before a few years back with a wrestler named Cesaro, who is now in AEW. But Sheamus and Cesaro went through a best-of-7 series that stretched over the course of like 2.5 to 3 months, maybe. And then when it all culminated, they met backstage on Monday Night Raw, and they said, this best-of-7 series we just had, it really set the bar for the rest of the roster. And so they went on to become the tag team named The Bar, and that was their new thing. So they would all come out, they would both come out, and that was their thing. The Bar. Any wrestling fans that lived through the Bar era know exactly what I'm talking about, because they were excellent, dude. Right. I think they won the tag titles like 3 or 4 times. They were fantastic. I loved them together, and I hope that's where we're going with Sheamus and Rusev. But where we're going now is John Cena versus Logan Paul. Maybe match of the night. Like I just said, if there was one that was going to fight a Rusev and Sheamus for match of the night, it's this one, because man, no surprise either. I think both of these guys, we knew that they were going to come out and put on an absolute classic barn burner, and that's what they did. Cena pulled out the Cena Kirana, the Cena Destroyer. He pulled out AJ Styles, a Styles Clash, amongst a few other moves that he borrowed from other wrestlers. Logan Paul returning the favor, doing the 5-knuckle shuffle and also hitting an AA. Look, dude, this match
Logan Paul emulating Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Like
on purpose, might I add?
Yeah. No, he did the ear. He did the ear.
Yeah,
he did it.
Yeah,
like,
he knew people were gonna hate it.
Look, and he did anyways. So look, this was a clinic. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I was wrong, and here's like something I should have thought about. Like Cena wasn't going to lose in France. I guess. Like, why are you going to have him lose in France? Like I'll admit, I took Logan Paul here. I missed on this. If this was in the States, I think Logan Paul wins this match. That said, Cena and Paul, if you don't like Logan Paul after this on some level, if you can't respect Logan Paul on some level, I don't know what to tell you, because this was all about Cena and Logan Paul just showing off for the masses for like 30 plus minutes. I don't even know how long the match went. Like I said, they were pulling out moves left and right that weren't theirs. Like you said, like, like I said, you probably know more of the guys than I know how many moves. Like I said, I caught the Styles Clash. I caught the Hurricanrana, obviously. John Cena. I didn't even know he could do a Hurricanrana, you know? So, just left, right, and center, dude. I don't know. For me, this was a wrestling match. Just everything you wanted in a match. And like I said, I turned to Connor at one point. I go, Logan Paul doesn't have to win this match anymore. He's proved enough. I feel like, if the match wasn't 35 minutes long or whatever it was, Logan Paul would have had to win, but he didn't. He put it all out there, just like you said, match of the night, up there, match of the year, and what a great match on the road to Cena's retirement.
Yeah, and I will say, I don't think that this being in France was an automatic disqualification for Cena losing. I think that it realistically, very realistically, could have been Logan Paul walking away with the victory, no matter where they are, to be honest with you.
Well, see, I
outside of maybe
wonder
his retirement.
because you've talked about how Cena sometimes will change stuff on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, like, if maybe like midway through the match, Logan Paul was like, "You hear that crowd, dude? Get your win." I wonder at some point. I don't know.
Maybe, but I really feel like the fact that they pushed 99 PLE wins so hard, they had to have known that, and I think that's something that they're really pushing for. So, like, I feel like it was more the story of Logan Paul, who's trying to prove himself as much as he doesn't care about their opinion, he's trying to prove himself to the WWE universe to show, like, I belong here, and like the people that you say belong here also think I belong here. So like I'm trying to prove to you guys that I need to be here. And so yeah, I also think that there was a point in the match where I kind of threw my hands up and I was like, again, I can disagree with Logan Paul with all the personal things he's done in his life, but as a wrestler, dude, I had to throw my hands up and be like, damn, like there are not many better in the company than Logan Paul right now, and I hate to say that. But when you look at his look, his look, his mic presence, the moves that he's able to do in the short amount of time that, and not given, he's a millionaire, right? So he can pay for the top notch athletic training and the diet and the wrestling training and all that. Like, dude could wrestle 24/7, 24 hours a day if he wanted to, But I think that in the 4 years that he has been in the WWE, outside of his U.S. title reign, because I felt like the U.S. title reign, I think he defended it 2 or 3 times over like the course of almost 300 days. So that was kind of stale. But the matches that he's been in the WWE, I think this was his 24th match. And I don't know that any of them have been bad at all. And so, look, as much as I hate to say it, Logan Paul might be one of the best guys in the company right now.
Dude, I've said it, dude. Like you said, I don't know like his personal politics. I don't care. I know that he did like some bad things when he was trying to come up. He was a dumb 20-year-old or something. Fine.
He was very stupid. Yeah.
The man has found his calling in wrestling. And as far as I know, hasn't done anything stupid lately. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's like, oh, you didn't hear about Logan Paul, XYZ. I know those Lunchable things that he made or whatever they were, Feastables. I heard people didn't like them. But whatever. He's trying to make products. I can't, whatever. I don't buy that stuff. You shouldn't either, maybe. But
yeah, we're not going around buying Mr. Beast bars or anything.
But
I
don't know everything he's done that's been egregious lately. Only thing I've ever heard, he's the one who went in the forest or something, right?
Yeah, he went into the forest in Japan and recorded someone in the forest actively.
Okay, yeah, that's all. So, look, that's.
He also did go into Japan and was like heckling people who lived in Japan, and it was a little bit offensive.
Yeah, I can see that too.
He was like, bending the eyes back and,
Mm.
yelling out gibberish to simulate Chinese or Japanese,
Right,
sorry.
right.
And so, it was all in bad taste. And yes, he was very young
I mean, I'm
and it was
hoping it
really
happened
messed up,
10
but
plus years ago. 'Cause like I said, I don't think I've heard of
yeah,
it. And
I think it's
I
been
don't know
like
when the
15
last
years ago.
time I've heard. I don't know. Like I said, I don't keep up with it. So I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want don't judge me if I'm completely wrong about Logan Paul as a person. Hit us up in the comments. Tell me what he's done recently that's been egregious. I have no idea. I don't
I
know
think
enough.
most people would probably, and again,
Just
we
say,
won't jump into all that,
yeah.
but his politics would
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
say that's the biggest thing
I
about him.
just, but when it comes to the wrestling, like you said, the wrestling, dude, the wrestling, he can wrestle. He can
Yeah, he can
wrestle.
wrestle.
He can talk on the mic, and that's all I really know him for now. And I know he's got Prime, and I don't drink it,
And
so
I don't drink it
you
either.
know, I
And
don't.
hey, look, guys, if you're hating on Logan Paul, you might want to catch up with the rest of the world because he's probably going to be world champion within the next year or two. So I would just be start preparing for that now.
And this match, like I said, was great. Him and Cena, great. I loved every minute of it, and I love the build up to it. You know, I love these guys. Like I said, the promo they cut on SmackDown, the promos they cut back and forth. I mean, Cena was given and taken, and it was great. This,
Yeah.
like, for me, this was a fun little match. Excited to see where Cena goes next. You know, because like I said, as we continue this retirement tour, I don't know if Braun, I don't know if who do you think's next? I don't even know.
I don't know. I was about to say I'm kind of curious who's next for both of these guys.
I mean,
I
is
don't
it
know.
Brock Lesnar? I mean, because we haven't, like, we
Yeah,
thought we were
probably
gonna
so.
see,
Probably
we
so.
thought we were gonna see Lesnar in the show, and we didn't. I don't know what that means. I mean,
Yeah,
so is
I
it
think
Brock?
Cena.
Is it not? You know, is it somebody
Well,
else?
Cena's gonna be in because I think SmackDown this week's in Chicago, and so he's gonna be in Chicago for SmackDown. I would bet money that's where Brock shows up. I
All
would
right.
bet money.
Yeah, they probably didn't want to pay for Brock to go to Paris. Like, dude, we
Brock probably
want you.
didn't want to go to Paris.
Yeah, that too. Brock's like, I've got my farm. Like I said, he looks like an evil retired Superman.
He's
So,
like, now he's like, you get me to Chicago where I can be there in an hour and back on a private jet. I'm down, but I'm not going to Paris and spending 15 hours on a plane.
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, and they probably pay him enough that he can just say that, All right, well, let's jump into the main event now. Of course, fatal four-way for the world heavyweight champion, for the world heavyweight championship, might I add. We have Seth Rollins defeating Jey Uso, CM Punk, and LA Knight. Look, dude, I thought this match was really fun. I don't think it was the best match of the night, but I thought it was a really fun match. A lot of table spots, a lot of hard-hitting moments, and of course, the big moment we all saw at the end, CM Punk hits to go to sleep. Seth stumbles back, bounces off the ropes, falls back on CM Punk's shoulder. We think he's going to hit it again, but I think that if you're a smart wrestling fan, I say smart to the business. If you're a smart wrestling fan, the angle that they were using, you kind of felt like something was up. Something was gonna happen. It felt like it was a little too easy. And then out of nowhere, a hooded figure, boom, low blow to CM Punk. And the second it happened, I was like, oh man. Because you know me, I was watching on crazy delay. I was way behind.
Mhm.
But when I finally saw it, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And of course, who else was it but the man, women's intercontinental champion, the wife to Seth freaking Rollins, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch jumping in, hitting CM Punk with the low blow, costing him the world champion and ensuring that her husband keeps the gold around his waist because we forgot to mention earlier in the show, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman barred from ringside.
Mhm.
It was fatal four-way, so
barred
no
from the building. They
disqualification.
got kicked out of the building.
Got kicked out of the building.
As
Yes.
Adam Pearce said, go enjoy a night in Gay Paris. You know,
Yeah,
so
exactly. So, look, Becky comes out, and one thing I love, I'm looking at the tweet right here, WWE's tweet. It's of Seth holding up the title with Becky holding his arm and the ref pointing or whatever, and it says, "This family hates CM Punk." And man, I've never heard a truer statement. So we find out the next night on Monday Night Raw, last night, a little bit more that happens with Becky and Punk and Seth and all that. But for this main event, as far as this goes, I think this really rounded out the show really well. I think it gave us a big moment that we were really wanting. I think most people thought the moment would be Jey Uso turning heel, but I'm okay with Becky inserting herself into all this because that's what I think a lot of us have been clamoring for months now. So, and I think it also sets up another return in the future that we'll talk about later. But what did you think about the main event? Was this the right call? What did you think?
well, first of all, how great is it that Becky shows up? Because nobody, I don't know anybody that called that. I don't know anybody that called that. And it's, it's like Seth's never alone, you know?
Well, he said earlier in the night.
He said, I'm 2 steps ahead.
I always have
right.
a plan B. Yep. And I thought that plan B was Jey Uso.
I mean, I didn't know what it was, I mean, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, how's he going to win this? And I thought just plan B was going to be just all the guys just playing off each other, you know? Because that's how the match started. It didn't start with him going after Rollins. It started with Punk laying out, it was Jay, right there at the jump,
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, dude, this match was really just the dynamics of everything. Cause for the longest time, I thought this was going to be really easy. That CM Punk was, like I said, it was like I keep using the Avengers or the Civil War analogy, but he was going to Captain America everybody together and fight evil. But now it's like, no, actually they're fractured. There is no togetherness, like none of them. And it's so great. It's so great. I and again, I didn't, as much as I like seeing Becky, and I think that's fantastic. I wanted Seth to find a way to win on his own. I was ready for that. I was ready for that chair stop to work. I knew it wasn't in the back of my head as soon as I'm like, I was ready for it to work. You got Seth after everybody's been fighting each other and fighting him, stopping them one after the other. Now he's gonna take out CM Punk, and I was just like, oh yeah, give it to me. Just give me Seth, because give me Seth. Just I need, like I said, I need the Vision to get like some huge mammoth win without interference. Seems like every time they win, it's because Braun comes out or Seth comes out or Bronson comes out or they all come out or whatever it is. That's why when we get to Raw, we'll talk about that in a second. But even that has a caveat. I wanted Seth to win this just straight up because I thought, my God, look at him. He's crushing everybody. And if he hits that heel stomp on the chair on CM Punk, it's the trifecta. It's over. He wins. Instead, he wins 10 seconds later because Becky comes out. So, we'll talk about where that's going to take us. And it takes us on an interesting road that I don't think either of us are ready to go down, but we're both more than happy to. I just want Seth and the Vision to get one complete victory that isn't relied on shenanigans, just once, just one. And I haven't gotten it yet.
You might be waiting a while for a clean win. Yeah, you might be waiting a while. All right. Well, you said we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. Let's jump right into it. So we're live from Paris again on Netflix. CM Punk, all business going into Monday Night Raw. And
he's waiting.
Yeah, waiting for Seth to arrive. But kicking off the show is Jey Uso.
Right.
Jey Uso coming out through the crowd, getting a huge entrance again. The crowd says, run it back. And he's like, actually, nope. I'm not going to run it back tonight. I'm not going to run it back tonight. I need y'all to hear me out, hear what I'm saying. And he calls out Braun Breaker Bronson Reed to get a little revenge for his cousin, but he's met by LA Knight instead. And LA Knight's pretty pissed. He's pretty pissed about the night before because LA Knight feels like he's been given chance after chance after chance, and every time that he's failed, it's never his fault. It's always at his behest because of someone else. And yeah, they had words with each other, and it looked like they were gonna get into a little bit of a kerfuffle until finally the Vision comes out and does interrupt them. Brags about taking down Roman Reigns the night before, and then eventually we get confirmed for later on in the main event, which should not have been the main event. We get confirmed for the main event that we're going to get the Vision versus LA Knight and Jey Uso. Matt, tell me what you thought about the whole opening segment and, what this does for LA Knight and Jey Uso going forward.
I don't know what it does for them going forward. I don't know which one's going heel first. Like, I think you said you don't think LA Knight's going heel. I don't know. I'm waiting for it, dude. Like I said, I love this dynamic between all of them. That there's this break right now, like I said, between all three of them and Punk and whatnot. But I also like the fact that when Braun came out, keep in mind why Braun's been upset. He's upset because we left this out because Paul is in the hospital well, because Roman put
choked out by Roman.
Yeah, got choked out. So Paul Heyman's in the hospital, and that's why Braun's not. So. Because we talked about the Braun look, and like this seems like a Braun rededicated to the Vision, but I don't know if he is. I don't know if he's rededicated to the Vision or if he's dedicated to Paul Heyman. You know what I'm saying? So every time he's talked about it, it's been about Paul Heyman. So that's more what I took away from this, because I'm not sure what they're doing with Jey and LA Knight right now. Like I said, we can talk about that a little more once we get to the main event. But from this opening, what I took away was interesting that Braun keeps talking about Paul Heyman. And that's for him his motivating factor. And for Bronson, it's still the Vision in a sense when they were tagging the mic. So just something to keep an eye on. Like I said, we don't know for sure if Braun was just tired like last week or what, and just wasn't character, or if that was on purpose, this disinterest that he seems to be showing incest leadership. Well, like I said, we'll see how that continue to play out. But that's what I took away from this opening.
Well, I told you last week, it gave me the impression that that is where we're headed. Is going to probably be Braun turning on Seth at some point with Paul Heyman backing him. But out of everybody in this group, Braun Breaker has the most history with Paul Heyman. Back when Braun Breaker was still on NXT, Paul Heyman made a special appearance and came down to NXT and actually managed Braun Breaker for one night. And then kind of hinted that Braun Breaker was going to be a Paul Heyman guy in the future. And now, a year plus later, here we are, and Braun Breaker's a Paul Heyman guy.
Right, right.
So it's kind of, all coming to fruition in some sorts. All right, so up next we had Asuka and the Kabuki Warriors backstage, and then Asuka kind of promising that they're all going to be champions again at some point. It kind of, we talked about it last week, but this dynamic between the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky is really interesting. It feels like Asuka is the again, I saw somebody make this comment on TikTok, so I'll tell you about it again. But it feels like Asuka is the overbearing father. It feels like Kairi Sane is the mom trying to keep it all together, and Io Sky is the teenager saying like, I don't like that you're telling me what I have to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. Or maybe even Io Sky at this point is the adult child of the situation where she's like, look, I've gone out and been world champion multiple times at this point, and like, I respect you, Asuka, but you haven't been world champion in 5 years or however long it's been. So something along those lines. But they do promise that they're going to all become world champion or all become champions again. And then I love this new thing where Asuka like storms off, and then Kairi Sane kind of stays back to try to keep the peace. And then you hear Asuka from the background, like, come on, let's go. And Kairi's like, oh, sorry. And then just runs off. So I really don't know where we're headed in terms of like, I feel like Asuka is destined for a heel turn, but I just don't know that Kairi Sane's going to join her in that heel turn. And maybe that's where we split all of them apart and we get to let them go off and do their own things. Or maybe Kairi Sane does just like reluctantly turn heel and joins up with Asuka, and that just causes the whole dissolution. But coming out of this, we get the Kabuki Warriors against the Judgment Day, and the Kabuki Warriors pick up the win over the Judgment Day. The women of the Judgment Day on a little bit of a losing streak as of late. So what'd you think about this segment? What'd you think about the match?
All right, dude. Like, okay, Asuka, she's losing it, dude. I mean, I get your analogy to a degree. I'm not going to disagree with that. Obviously, Kyrie's playing the middleman, trying to make peace and whatnot. But this for me, just I'm waiting for Asuka just to lose it. I mean, I'm just waiting for her to go full tilt. I mean, this match was kind of interesting because the only reason this match existed was A, to show Asuka losing it more and what that's going to do, and then B, I think, yeah, it's the beginning and the end of the Judgment Day female tag, whatever. We're going to see the seams start splitting. Roxanne and Raquel were originally, on good terms when they were winning. Now they're not winning, and so we're going to see that start to split, I feel like. But I'm more curious about the Asuka stuff. What's going to happen with her? What's going to happen with Io? How that's going to fit with Rhea? Do we get a Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea tag team match? Is that going to be it? And then when that happens, does Kairi split from Asuka after that match? I can see Kairi going really full tilt nuts, but I could also see her like challenging for the which one is it? The Intercontinental? Is that the Becky Lynch? Which one does she have? The Intercontinental? So I can see her challenging with the Becky Lynch, going through the Becky Lynch. Like, I would love to see, like, in 6 months or so somehow, Asuka and Bayley and their psychosis meeting up. I mean, maybe that's a crazy idea, but I feel like they're both going nuts at the same time. So I'd like to see Asuka and Bayley, see what happens, with them down the line. It's obviously not going to be anything that happens, tomorrow, but I can see them, meeting up as they're both having like these splits. So what do you think, Casey? I mean, you think I'm crazy with this Asuka Bayley thing, or where do you think this all goes, man?
I don't think you're crazy. Look, man, WrestlePalooza is coming up, and I think they're going to make that as crazy and as jam-packed as they can. And I think that this Asuka, Kyrie, and Io thing is dissolving really quickly.
I mean, do you think we get the tag team match there? The Rhea Io tag team match there?
Yeah, I see a situation where maybe we have Rhea Ripley versus either Asuka or Kairi Sane in one of the upcoming weeks, and Rhea wins, of course. And then I think we get a situation where Asuka so maybe that's it. Maybe we get Rhea Ripley and Kairi Sane one week. And I think, first of all, it'd be an excellent match. Second of all, I think Rhea Ripley's going to win. And I think after the fact, maybe Asuka attacks Rhea Ripley. And then Kairi Sane doesn't really want to attack with her, but Asuka's like, yeah, do it. Attack her. And so they start attacking Rhea Ripley together. Then Io Sky makes the run out, and it looks like
Mhm.
Asuka's like, "All right, join us. Let's beat her down." And
It's about time.
Io Sky has to make the tough decision to say, "I'm not going to do it," and she
Mhm.
instead helps Rhea Ripley, and I think that sets up the whole tag team match for WrestlePalooza.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally, totally. All
That's how
right.
I see it going, yeah. But yeah, so look, I love where we're going with all this. And immediately after this, Raw general manager Adam Pearce announced that so it can't be the tag match because at WrestlePalooza we're getting Io and Stephanie Baker for the World Heavyweight Championship.
That's right.
So it
That's
can't
right.
be. So look,
Yeah, 'cause the vacated title. That's right.
I'm gonna maintain what I said in terms of how it's all gonna go down. But I think now maybe we just see Rhea Ripley versus either Asuka or Kairi Sane at WrestlePalooza instead. And
Right,
maybe
right.
that's gonna start
It'll be
the
like Rhea
tension.
and Asuka or something like that. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I could see. I still think that Io's going to come out and make the save, and
Mhm.
eventually decide to side with Rhea at some point. It just won't be for WrestlePalooza, and I guess that kind of spoils who I think is going to win because I don't think Io's taking the title back again. So I think it's probably going to be Stephanie Vaquer.
That's just crazy that Stephanie Curry gets a title that soon. But all
Well,
right,
you got to
all right.
think she's new to WWE, but she's
I
world
know,
renowned. So
I know. I'm not. I'm just
right. All
just
right. So
Rhea Ripley should have it. All right.
well, you can't have Rhea having the title all the time. All right. So let's see. Yeah, so up next is Finn Balor versus Dragon Lee. Finn does pick up the win here, which is good. I think Finn has needed a win for a good, solid win for a while now. And look, Dragon Lee, man, I was never huge on him, but every time lately I see him in the ring, he just impresses me
Yeah,
more
no, he
and
looks.
more and
Like I said,
more.
this was a fun match between two guys who know how to wrestle.
And the crowd was excellent for it. Finn got wrapped up in that Trio of Woes situation, and he was fine, but he did a really good job making it seem like he wasn't fine and that he was in a lot of pain while he was just hung up there with his foot kind of stuck under the
Right.
turnbuckle. Did a really good job of that, and I thought this was a really fun match. JD McDonough caught me off guard with the braids going down, but I thought that was pretty cool. JD McDonough, look, is slowly turning into one of my sneaky favorites on the roster. His in-ring work, I think he's pretty decent on the mic. I think he's really funny whenever he does like have some comedic moments. If JD McDonough wasn't 5'10" or whatever he is, I think he'd probably be a world champion by now. Like if he was like 6'3", I think he'd probably already be one of the top guys in the
Look,
company.
I
He's
mean, I
just so
love him
great.
and Finn together. I love that tag team, man. Like I just obviously you can only love a tag team for so long before you want them to go on maybe and do single stuff. And Finn's already done single stuff. You know, JD really hasn't, right? So I mean, see what you got maybe. But man, like I said, as a team, they are a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, 100% agree. Let me see. And then, Adam Pearce lets, after all the interference happened in Finn and Dragon Lee's match, Adam Pearce informs the Judgment Day that they will all be barred from ringside for Dominic Mysterio's match
Right.
against AJ Styles for the title later on. But we see how that went. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. We had a little commercial break, and then coming back from the commercial, actually, Io Sky is chatting with Nikki Bella, and then Asuka walks up and again starts a whole bunch of drama saying, like, shoo, I need to talk to my girl. And she's insistent that the Kabuki Warriors need to be in the corner of Io Sky at WrestlePalooza since Io Sky wasn't able to win the World Championship herself at SummerSlam, Asuka says.
No, we'll see Asuka probably cost her the title, if anything, you know? I mean, that's probably what'll happen if she's in that corner. She'll cost her the title. She'll get upset. Rhea will come out there for some reason. And then maybe that's when the beatdown happens. And,
Maybe so.
You know, I mean, but look, this is all foreboding negativity for Asuka. You know, I mean, like I said, I'm just waiting for her to fly seriously off the handle that even Kyrie don't want to be around her. So
yeah, 100% agree. I just think wherever they go with it, they've done a really good job of keeping me interested. Kudos to WWE. All right, up next, we get Penta and the War Raiders going up against the New Day and Big G Grayson Waller. Hey, look, man, I know I keep saying this. I love the New Day with Grayson Waller so freaking much. I love it so much. There is nothing that you or anybody could say that will take me away from this because I think that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston have never been able to be heels like this in their character, and they're so good, man. Like Xavier Woods was already one of my favorites, as you already knew, but I've just loved the New Day as a whole since, I mean, really it goes back to me loving Kofi Kingston as a kid when he was using his Jamaican gimmick in ECW, and then they brought him to the main roster, and one time he was cutting a promo, and back when Triple H was still an active wrestler, it was a few guys in the ring. Triple H said, wait, didn't you have a Jamaican accent? What happened to that? Like live on Raw, and it was so hilarious. One of the funniest moments I think in WWE history. And actually, because of that, they had to stop billing Kofi because they were billing him from Kingston, Jamaica, and so they had to stop billing him from Kingston, Jamaica, and now he's from Ghana, West Africa, which I think is actually where his family is from. So that was super funny. But in terms of this match, look, I think that New Day and Grayson Waller work cohesively together so great. I think their comedic timing with their, in no other words, chicken shit heel antics, they're just so funny, dude. And then Penta, I think just works with anybody. Literally, you could pair him with basically anybody on the roster, and he's fantastic. And then the War Raiders, they're multi-time tag champs all over the world. Not much you can say about them, but I thought this was a really fun match for a random Monday Night Raw, and I'm not mad that I saw it. So that's a plus.
All right. I mean, look, I just like I know I got the Penta and the New Day like feud or whatever. Obviously, I just do they not know what to do with Penta? I mean, like with the War Raider, it didn't really work for me. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
feels like remember, I told you, this feels, I said it last week, this feels like a filler arc in an anime where
yeah, right.
we're saving Penta for the next big arc and the next big boss, and he's getting some experience in between, you
It's
know?
just I guess I need the little storylines with it. That I need him going up to the War Raiders, then having like a good conversation or something. It just felt like the most random pairing. Like I was like, how'd the War Raiders get involved in this? Did I
Well,
yet
I
again?
mean,
Did I miss a promo?
well, no, but the New Day beat the War Raiders at
Right. No,
WrestleMania
I know
earlier this
that. Oh,
year,
I know
so there's
that.
history. There's history.
No, I mean I get that too. I mean I know that it's just I don't know. I was slightly unenthused for the match. I do like the Grayson Waller and the New Day angle. I do
Yeah.
like that, but this match for me was just this, like you said, like a Dragon Ball filler. This for me could have been a bathroom break in between. Like I said, what I thought for the most part was a pretty good card storyline, top to bottom. So
Yeah, this was just a fun match for the crowd. That's what it
all right,
really
all right.
boils down to. I think that maybe
I
Penta
mean, I
might
guess
be,
Paris has to see Penta, or France has to see Penta, and that
yeah.
was the only time I think he got out in all them days.
Well, and I think Penta's probably headed after the Intercontinental Championship when he's done with all this that he's got going on with the New Day and whatever. So we'll talk more about that later. But we get Adam Pearce backstage with Lyra Valkyria. Lyra, of course, asking about Bailey, and they talked about Bailey for a second. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up here. It said that she was ready to get back in the ring and requested a match for next week, which was against one of the members of the Judgment Day. So, because the Judgment Day were in there, they had a little bit of a tiff. And so Lyra says, "Yeah, I'll take one of them on next week." And so I think that's probably where we're headed.
Right.
Now, the fact that Lyra is still being attached to Bailey is really curious for me. I'm really curious where they're going to go with that
Oh no,
because
you said the whole
we've seen
Bailey's
where,
like you said, the Bailey losing her mind thing. Yeah, that's got to go through Lyra first, obviously. But if she's still losing her mind, dude, I want to see her and Oscar.
yeah, right. Well, I think that Lyra is maybe going to feel some sort of some sense of responsibility for the way that Bailey has for what's happening to Bailey. And I think that maybe it's going to be we're just going to get a Bailey and Lyra, maybe we get them as a tag team where Lyra also kind of like goes a little kooky, a little crazy. And all of a sudden we've got this weird dynamic of Bailey and Lyra together again, but just much different. And now they're going after the women's tag titles. I wouldn't mind seeing that. All right. Speaking of champions, we've got Dominic Mysterio defending the Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles. Now Dominic ends up retaining here via shenanigans, via interference, but not from the Judgment Day, from El Grande
El
Americano
Grande Americano.
version 2.0, So,
Speaking of, is there any update on Chad Gable? I wonder if
oh,
how
he's
he's
going to be
doing.
out till maybe February or
Oh,
March at
really?
best.
Okay.
And typically, a lot of the times when guys and gals are going to be that close to Mania, I would bet money he's probably not back till after WrestleMania. Because like if he's clear for March 20th, but WrestleMania is a month away, I mean, I guess you could, but chances are he'll probably just be kept off with a big return. The Raw after WrestleMania it would be my guess. But yeah, look, I thought this was a really fun match, like we talked about. AJ he's got his ovation from the crowd for what felt like a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd was just hot. They would not stop, dude. It was so much fun. I thought the match was fun as well. And Grande Americano does eventually interfere, gets the headbutt that allows Dom to hit the frog splash and retain the title. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with El Grande Americano and Dominic Mysterio and the Judgment Day going forward. I kind of feel like maybe we're starting to see the final cracks of the Judgment Day form that could lead to the dissolution of it all. By the time, who knows, maybe it's just Dom and like one or two of them left by the time Liv comes back. And when Liv comes back, he's like, Liv's back, and she's just like not interested anymore, or just turns on him or something. I don't really know where we're going, but I think we can all see that the cracks in the foundation are definitely forming. So really curious to see what they do with El Grande Americano going forward. But what did you think about the match, and what are your thoughts?
Dude, this match was great, dude. I mean, even without the El Grande Americano like interference, I felt like Dom was winning that match. You know, he was putting on a show, dude. I mean, AJ was great, don't get me wrong, but this was Dom's match, even though he quote unquote needed help from Grande Americano to win it. I feel like he's been crushing it lately, dude. Between this and AAA and whatnot. I mean, Dom's been everywhere. He's been crushing it. So yeah, like this is fun. I don't know what happens now with AJ though, right? Like, is he still bugging Dom after this? Is this the end of it? Does this mean that's over? Where does AJ go after this? That's my only thing, really, is because I've really enjoyed the AJ Dom antics backstage when Dom was hurt and AJ's just popping up everywhere. That's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of good times, you know? So I really, really more curious what happens with AJ, because as you said, Judgment Day seem like they're falling apart. You could see Dominic and El Grande Americano forming a tag team after he loses the Intercontinental title. You can see something like that happening. But yeah, no, I can see things for Dom. I just don't know where AJ goes. And I kind of want him to keep screwing Dom, you know? Well, I kind of want a third match, you know?
Well, Wrestling 101 tells me that we're probably getting AJ and El Grande Americano. That's where I think we're probably going.
I can see that because of the interference. You're right. Yep.
And we could get Dom and Penta, something like that. Now, I do think you talked about Dom and what he's been doing between WWE and AAA. Another one, El Grande Americano, man, at least who we assume is Ludwig Kaiser under the mask. Right? Kaiser has been killing it, and I forgot that he speaks like 5 languages. So he is fluent in Spanish. So whenever he's like out there doing press, like I've seen this joke online a lot, but I think it's true. Chad Gable's never getting this gimmick back.
Yeah, he's not.
This is Kaiser's gimmick.
Funny. It's so funny that this has become Kaiser's gimmick.
Yes,
he's kind of inherited. I wonder how Gable feels, you know, because I wonder if he's like proud, he's like good, or if he's like, damn it.
And and now they've done the whole El Grande Americano 3.0 thing where we're assuming it's Pete Dunne under that mask.
Oh yeah, the third one that came. Yeah.
And Kaiser and Pete Dunne, before all this happened, they did have some history where they kind of teased they might tag together. So I'm feeling like maybe this is going to lead to an unmasking of the two, and then they are just a tag team at some point. But man, I don't ever want to see Kaiser out of this gimmick. I think he's so great as El Grande Americano. Like Chad Gable was great as it, but his lack of Spanish kind of hurt it in a way that eventually it was like, okay, it's not so funny anymore that you don't know any words in Spanish at all, other than like arriba and hola. Like those are the only words you really know in Spanish. And Kaiser comes out and he's like a full blown luchador, is speaking Spanish, wearing the mask everywhere he goes. And it's like, man, why would I ever want to see Chad Gable back in the gimmick when Kaiser's so good at it? So look, I hate that he's eventually going to have to give that mask up because he's so damn good. And I think that if anything, this is Kaiser showing the WWE that you can give me literally anything and I'll make it money. So I think Kaiser's going to be golden on the other side of this. I think he's going to get a pretty big push because of this alone. All right, so Michael Cole gives us a few medical updates of what happened the night before. Paul Heyman suffered a larynx contusion while he was choked out by Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns has multiple rib fractures, not rib breaks. That's what leads me to believe he won't be gone that long. Like a few rib fractures, you can come back in a few weeks from. He might be taped up, just like Jey Uso was, but I feel like Roman's probably going to be back sooner than we think. So those are just the updates they gave us. But next was the big segment that we and everybody have been talking about. CM Punk was told that Seth Rollins had arrived on Raw and bypassed the talent entrance and somehow got in the arena. So Punk says, fine, I'll go out and I'll handle it myself. And he calls Seth out for a man-to-man, to face a man-to-man. And who else comes out but the man? The man, Becky Lynch, comes out to face CM Punk. And I think this paragraph I just read encapsulates it perfectly. It says that she unloaded on Punk with 10 years worth of pent up frustration. And one of the lines that I really loved was that she said, or whenever Punk walked out, it affected more than just her husband because it was Punk's name that they used to chant during Becky's matches. And that gave her the sense of what she was doing didn't matter to the WWE universe because that all they wanted was CM Punk. And even called CM Punk the poster child for apathy. Man, dude. And not only that, not only all the words, but it got physical, and Becky really laid into CM Punk with a bunch of hits. Like a few of them, I was like, okay, wow, okay, like we're really laying these hits in. And I'm sure it was what it was. Nobody was mad at each other after the fact, but they did a really good job of making this feel as real as they possibly could. And yeah, I really loved this segment, and I'm anxious to know your thoughts because I kind of feel like me and 90% of other wrestling fans know where this is going.
I mean, look, we all know where it's going now, where it's 99% likely going to go. There's no mystery. In fact, the mystery was even like kind of their Clash in Paris when Punk grabbed that sign, you know. Oh, but this was so great, dude. Not only that, but this was Becky Lynch being Becky Lynch. That for me was maybe the most interesting part because I didn't feel like she was being the man. You know, I didn't feel like she was being a character. She was being. I felt like I knew Becky more than I ever knew Becky in that. Like I feel like like I knew who she was as a person, and I get it. Now she went a little too hard on Punk with the slapping, even for me.
It was a lot of slapping.
It was a lot of slapping, and when you go that much slapping, it's hard to be on your side anymore. Which is why I don't like that it was that much slapping because I feel like that does not bode well for Seth and Becky in the future. Like you can slap CM Punk once or twice, get away with it. But she was like, it was like a good 30 seconds.
She started pushing and then just.
I can handle the pushing even. It was like the 30 seconds of slapping. And it was just like, and you can see, like, I mean, it just makes me wonder how much is kayfabe and how much is legit, because part of me was waiting for Punk to do something. Like, I was like, man.
I thought she was about to catch a GTS.
I thought she was going to catch something. I mean, whether it was just a hard shove, a slap in the face, a good one, I don't know. So the fact that he showed restraint was pretty great, while also showing this non-restraint body language, like I said, that felt like he was ready just to explode.
Yeah.
But we'll take it to it. Like, I'll let you take the next part because I don't know enough about AJ Lee. So you'll have to take the reins from here on out. I mean, all I know is that, she's married to Punk. And here we got husband and wives feuding. So go ahead, tell me what you think is going to happen next, and tell me what you think overall, I guess.
Well, when Punk said, when he dropped the line that Seth would regret ever cashing in on him and she would regret ever putting her hands on him, I think everybody kind of knew, like, all right, we're hoping it's AJ Lee, but I've also heard some rumors because AJ Lee, so this is not for anybody watching because most of the people watching pretty much know the situation. So this is really for you, Matt. But when CM Punk left the company in 2014, he left in January of 2014 after the Royal Rumble. Fast forward to later that year, in like August or September, AJ Lee and CM Punk get married. Well, on the day of their marriage, WWE actually sent CM Punk's papers letting him know that he had been officially fired from the company because CM Punk had walked out, but he still had a contract. He still had time left on his deal. And so CM Punk left and was just talking about the company and letting secrets fly, and he was not holding back. And so that caused a lot of a rift between AJ Lee and the WWE from what we've been told and what we've heard. And so she chose to not renew her contract whenever her contract came up. She's like, no, you treated us pretty shitty and my husband hates you guys. So I think I'm just gonna quit wrestling. And she didn't wrestle anywhere else. Her contract expired and she's been retired ever since.
Right.
She's an author now. She's done a whole bunch of stuff. I think she's directing her own show. She's done a lot of stuff. So now AJ Lee was my absolute favorite when she was wrestling. Okay. So I loved AJ Lee. Now there's another woman that AJ Lee was really close with. She had a lot of matches with, named Paige. Paige, I don't know if you ever heard about that movie.
That's the one, The Fight with My Family. Right?
Yes, that's Paige. So Paige had a whole bunch of stuff happen to her in WWE, out of the ring and behind the scenes and stuff. And she ended up leaving the company. She had to retire because she had a really bad neck injury. She ended up coming out of retirement. She wrestled for AEW for a while. Now she's not with AEW. So a lot of people are speculating that if it's not going to be AJ Lee, that maybe it's going to be Paige. And maybe Paige comes back. And, I feel like that would also be a lot of fan service. I think people, if it's not going to be AJ Lee, people are going to be pissed off by almost anybody else that it would be, except for if it were Paige. I think that's the only acceptable option. Now, the other rumor I have heard, and God, I really hope it's not that, but the other rumor I have heard is that he's just going to get Nikki Bella and that they're going to run. Yeah, I know. And that's no shade to Nikki Bella at all. I just don't see how you fit into this storyline other than the fact that you just had a match.
Yeah, besides you were
Becky.
the most recent person. Yeah,
exactly. And
I'd
so
rather
I really
go
hope
get
it's not.
Lyra. That if it's not going to make any sense, go get Lyra or something.
Yeah, and so I hope it's AJ Lee, and ask me 2 years ago, I'd say there's no way in hell. But now that CM Punk is back in the company, man, anything could happen, dude. I really don't know.
All right, so let me ask you this, straight up, not storyline wise. You got AJ Lee, you got Becky Lynch. Who wins?
What do you mean not storyline wise?
Like, because right now, storyline wise, I feel like AJ Lee, if she comes back, she's going to beat the hell out of Becky. I feel like that's the storyline we're going to get. Now, don't get me wrong, at least initially. Now they might start some feud. We'll see what happens, how long AJ, but if she's making like a one-time, let's say she's making a one-time appearance sort of thing. Like, this is a one-time, husband-wives match. I don't know. Have they ever done something like that? Like, mixed?
Yeah, they have.
Mixed tag? All right. So, like, a husband-wives match, one time. If she's coming back one time, and no titles on the line, by the way, because, Seth's title's on the line, and Becky's title on the line. This is just a grudge match sort of thing. I think one time we see Seth and AJ Lee get the upper hand storyline-wise. So I'm just curious, if you're just taking them both and it's just an open match, not for a title or anything, you're just booking them. When you book it, who in your brain wins the match?
You're talking about a one-on-one or the tag?
Yeah, one-on-one, a one-on-one.
See, it really depends, because I feel like it depends on the context, right? If there's more going forward, I think Becky wins. If it's a one-match deal, I think AJ probably does win.
All right.
But
what about Paige? Where would you put Paige and Becky then? Would you put her?
If Paige is coming back, it's kind of a similar situation.
Okay.
If it's a multi-match feud, I don't think it really matters, because they'll probably trade a few wins back and forth.
Right.
But if it's a one match deal, I feel like Paige might actually be a little different, because if AJ comes back, it might just be for this program, right? And then she's gone again. But if Paige comes back, she might be here after. Right. So I could see, even if it's a one-time deal, Paige could lose and then just move on and do something else. But I'll tell you what I really want to see, which, first of all, it's crazy that in 2025 we're talking about CM Punk and AJ Lee in the WWE. But I think if it were to happen, what I really want to see is, over the next few months, I want to see them cost Seth and Becky those titles. I want to see Seth and Becky lose the titles not at the expense, but I want to see Punk and AJ Lee cost them. So by the time we get to WrestleMania next year, we can finally get that mixed tag match, and it's Punk and Lee versus Seth and Becky. Because I don't think they would do a title, like a double title match. I just don't. I feel like this is a match so massive, because AJ Lee was that popular when she was around, and CM Punk is still that popular. And then you add in two of the greatest of all, like, you got four of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering.
Respectively, so I don't think it needs any titles.
I hate CM Punk. All right, moving on.
We know. All right. So after everything is said and done, Punk runs into Adam Pearce backstage. They talk for a little bit, and Punk says he'd be back next week in Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah, in Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, and then he asks where's SmackDown going to be this week. Pearce says Chicago. Punk just kind of smiles and walks away. So something's happening on Friday.
We're seeing him Friday night. Yep, we'll see him Friday night.
Yeah, we're going to definitely see him Friday night. All right. Into the main event, which I don't think should have been the main event. I think AJ and Dom should have been the main event, considering that it should have been on the PLE. And
given that's a title match and everything that you've been building up to for months.
Like, come on, man. And I mean, it should have been on the PLE, but
right.
All right, so despite their differences, Uso and LA Knight do work pretty well together for a while going into the match. But look, Jey's still pretty banged up, and Braun eventually hits the spear on Jey Uso to pick up the win for their team. I think that just in the last 72 hours, that WWE has kind of subtly established that Braun Breaker is still their guy coming out of the Vision, and it's not quite Bronson Reed yet. Bronson Reed had a good showing. Like, he looked really good against Roman, don't get me wrong, but who was it that was standing tall that laid Roman out through the table? It was Braun Breaker. Who was the one that came out and established himself as the force that could save Bronson Reed? It's Braun Breaker. Who's the one that's going to have the next solo match against Roman Reigns? It's probably going to be Braun Breaker. And now he picks up the win over former world champion Jey Uso in the main event of Monday Night Raw. And it looks like for, we were talking about how Bronson maybe was getting a little bit more momentum than Braun was at some point. For a few weeks, it looked like they were 1A, 1B. And now I really feel like Braun has kind of separated himself a little bit more again. So I feel like they're doing this really interesting thing. And with Seth not being there, I thought it was also pretty interesting because Braun said earlier in the night, he said, we got no Oracle here. We've got no Seth here. We're two dogs off a leash tonight. And we're ready to cause some mayhem. And that's what they did. And they continued to beat down Jey after the match. And we get the huge run-in save by none other than new soon dad to be, Big Jimmy Uso, and making the save for his brother. And you hear Jey saying as they go off the air, he's like, I need you, man. I can't do it. I can't do it by myself. I can't do it alone. And so we're definitely getting the Uso tag team reuniting. And I'm assuming it's going to be at WrestlePalooza. And so I would bet money that it's probably going to be Braun and Bronson against the Usos at WrestlePalooza. And look, dude, here's where I think stuff might get crazy. So we've been talking a little bit about Jey Uso and what could come if there were to be a heel turn. Now, let's not forget in the past, who were two of the people that Jey cares the most about that have also done him the dirtiest in his past recently? That's Jimmy and Roman. And as much as he loves them, that's his brother, that's his cousin. He also mentioned that Roman gave him some advice at Clash where Roman was like, you got to stop caring about everybody. You got to start caring about yourself at some point. I just wouldn't be too shocked if at WrestlePalooza, it looks like Jimmy and Jey are going to pick up the win. And maybe they do. Maybe they do pick up the win. But after the match, maybe it looks like they're going to get a beatdown and Jey might turn on Jimmy. And it might even be like Roman runs in to help them and Jey turns his back on both of them and ends up joining Seth's group or something along those lines. Even if he goes lone wolf, right? Even if he goes lone wolf, I just wouldn't be shocked if this whole like the Usos reuniting or whatever is just smoke and mirrors to distract us from the fact that Jey Uso might stab his brother in the back very soon because Jimmy Uso stabbed him in the back multiple times already. And maybe Jay's just a little too pissed off and maybe he's a little too tired of having everybody's back and nobody has his. So look, I think this is leading to a tag match. Just don't be shocked if this also leads to a Jey heel turn soon within the next few weeks. So, but tell me what you thought about the main event and where you think it's going.
All right. Finally, Braun and Bronson get a win.
Right.
That's clean. But it's against a beat-up Jey Uso and a beat-up LA Knight. One of them's wearing the rib or whatever protector. The other one's got athletic tape all over their body or whatever. Kinesthetic tape, I think.
I think it's kinetic.
Yeah.
But maybe kinesthetic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah. So, look, so again, well, it's a win. It doesn't feel like a strong win. So I'm still not happy for the vision. That said, where are we going with Jimmy and Jey? I'm with you. I think it's going to be a short-lived thing. I think it might be because they lose in this tag team match if they get one again at WrestlePalooza. And let's say, Jimmy's getting beat down. Jay's not going in there. Maybe they're each individually getting beat down. I could see Jimmy getting really beat down because I could see Jimmy needing some paternity leave. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, I don't know how soon that's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure in the next 6 months or so, Jimmy will be off air for a little while with an injury for paternity leave, just because. I could be wrong, but So yeah, no, I see this being a short-lived tag, whatever it is, because no, I really, really want Jey to go heel. I don't want him to join Bronson. I want him to go lone wolf heel or something. I mean, I'm curious because kind of what's happened on SmackDown with Sammy, Jey, and Jacob. Like that kind of like a weird friendship thing. I mean, they're all technically blood with Sammy being whatever. So, but Jay's on the other network, so I don't know because Jay's on Raw. You know what I mean? Like
right.
So I don't know.
But Jimmy's also SmackDown.
No, Jimmy's SmackDown. So I don't know if this facilitates a move for Jey.
I think it's just going to be like a bouncing back and forth thing that was kind of understood.
See. And maybe we'll find that SmackDown and Raw aren't as important moving forward as we move on to totally new networks. Like now we're on Netflix and ESPN. We're not on USA and Peacock or whatever.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you hear about the heat that Stephanie McMahon is getting?
No,
So, she has her own podcast, right? Like the What's
right,
Your
yeah.
Story? Well, they were talking, I haven't seen the clip or heard it yet, but I just read about it. But apparently they were talking about the whole ESPN deal, and a lot of people were talking about how it's going to be harder for them to get PLEs. She apparently told people to go get a VPN so they could just watch it on Netflix instead of doing the ESPN. And so now ESPN execs are pretty pissed, apparently. I mean, I get it. You just paid all this money for this big deal, and you got one of the biggest people in the company saying like, well, just do what I do and use a VPN and just watch it on Netflix from a different country. And I could imagine the boardroom at ESPN was like, what the hell? Looking around like, what is that? So yeah, she's in some hot water over that.
Stephanie, I love you. I'm hoping that you did that, not because, Paul is probably getting, or we still think Paul's getting shit canned eventually. I mean, I haven't heard anything about talking about that.
I hope not.
I hope not too. But I wonder, Paul's on his way out. She's like, I'm probably on my way out too. Go get a VPN, peace out. I don't know. I mean, but look, if she's not, more power to you, Stephanie, telling the people, because look, she's for the fan, in my opinion, then, and that's because this ESPN thing, I mean, I don't know what it does. I don't know enough, what it's going to mean. From what I've heard, technically it only costs money if you're streaming. If you already have ESPN, through your cable, you should be fine, is what I've been told. What I've read on some level, it's only if you have ESPN Plus and you don't have cable ESPN, you know what I mean? But I could be wrong, could be totally off on that, So, but we'll see, because, I mean, right now, wrestling is it's so perfect with how it functions between Netflix and Peacock. I'm fine getting off USA, I wish it was all just Netflix and Peacock, because USA is just a little bit of a pain sometimes to catch, and you can't, start late. You can start, raw late on Netflix. I wish you could do that on USA. If you could do that, I have no problem with USA. But, yeah, I mean, look, we'll see what happens, dude. It's going to get really interesting in the next 6 months. Because I really feel like, anybody who's a hardcore wrestling fan has already been told by multiple people, go get a VPN,
Yep.
It's not
we've been talking about it for weeks now.
Right. It's not like Stephanie McMahon's saying anything that the larger wrestling community isn't already talking about. So ESPN should be well aware of this. And if anything, ESPN should be looking on how they fix it, lower prices, whatever they have to do, because you're hearing from your consumers, man. You're hearing straight up. You just bought a new product and everybody's saying, we are going to find a way to get it without you.
Yeah.
And that is not what ESPN wants to hear. So what do you do with ESPN? You got to find a solution. I'm not sure what it is. I have no idea how any of that works.
Right.
But if Peacock is able to do it for $8.99 or whatever it is, ESPN, worldwide leader in sports, you should be able to do it less than Peacock, not 5 times more. You should be able to do it less, at least at the same bloody price.
Well, rest in peace to the WWE PLE Peacock era. It's officially over. Clash of Paris was the last one.
What a great era, man. Hey, look, technically free PLEs for $9 a month. I mean,
yeah, dude.
Thank you,
such
Peacock.
A good deal.
Yeah, thank you, Peacock, for that great deal. You got a lot of people you got me rehooked on wrestling because I didn't have to go. Like I said, that was one of the things that drove me away from wrestling as well, was the fact that you got to get a group together, when you're 18, and you got to buy WrestleMania for $60.
Yeah,
and
you hope everybody will pitch in.
Right, you hope everybody will pitch in. Like I said, $60 don't seem like much maybe when you hit 30 or 40, but when you're an 18-year-old kid and you're in college and you're trying to survive, and what's the one event you want to watch? You want to watch WrestleMania. You want to watch SummerSlam. You might miss a Raw or SmackDown. That's not the biggest thing, but you want to watch the live.
And imagine
PLEs.
paying $60 a month now in this era where we have one every 3 weeks.
Right.
Or we have a Saturday night's main event, and then 2 weeks later we have a PLE. Imagine paying for all those.
The one nice thing is now, at least, and we'll see how it works, but you could even watch highlights back then because there was no YouTube. You know what I mean? It'd be $60 to watch this pay-per-view event, and if you don't watch it, you don't even know what happened. You go
watch
on
Raw the next night, and they'll give you a little recap at the top of the show.
Maybe they have a recap, but they're still not recapping everything because they don't recap like they used to. I mean, like they do now. Now, I mean, like I said, production value 1,000 times better, and somehow they've done it 1,000 times better with what seems like a lower buy-in from the fan. So I don't know. I mean, show me something, ESPN. You're gonna be charging people $30 a month.
Yeah.
You better be sending me a pizza every time I'm watching a PLE. Here's your free Domino's code. Order now your free Domino's pizza provided by ESPN. Thank you for watching this PLE. I mean, something, dude,
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, Look, dude, a whole weekend jam-packed of wrestling, and, we got WrestlePalooza, the first ESPN event coming up in a few weeks on September 20th.
It's crazy it's coming that fast.
I know.
Like, I feel like the deal just happened. I feel like there should be, like,
It
some time,
did. I
like
know.
it'd be like the New Year. It's like a month after the deal gets announced. It's crazy.
Yeah, they really pushed it to the end. I didn't even know when the deal was up, and then when I heard, I was caught off guard, and then they were like, "Yep, first event happening September 20th." I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa." So I was like,
Nuts.
"Are they dual streaming it?" And that's when I found out that the whole thing was up and that Peacock is done. And so I was like, I actually deleted Peacock off my TV because I was like, "Well, I have no use for this anymore."
Yeah, no,
So
I'm gonna have to, like, reduce my thing from the premium to the normal, so I don't have a
yeah,
reason
right.
for the premium anymore.
Right, right. Well, hey, look, man, if you got nothing else, I think we yapped enough about wrestling for now.
We did,
But
man. We covered it all, dude. We covered 3 events. What do y'all think? We did it pretty a normal good time too. So, but we
yeah,
need comments.
let us know down in the comments who you think is going to come help CM Punk against Seth and Becky. Is it going to be AJ Lee? Is it going to be Paige? Is it going to be Nikki Bella again? I hope not, but let us know down in the comments who you think it's going to be. And yeah, man, until let me see, what's today? Tuesday. We should be back on at the very least Saturday with
Yeah,
another
Saturday
pod.
the SmackDown review.
Yeah, SmackDown review, and we're aiming at doing interviews with local independent wrestlers, and maybe even Matt says we should go swing for the fences and get some big names. We'll
I
see
mean,
about
why
that.
not? What
We'll
are they
see.
doing
We'll
right
see
now?
about it. We'll see about
What's
it.
Roman doing right now besides lying in the hospital
What's
with some
Roman? Probably
fractured ribs?
filming Street Fighter.
I'll tell you what he's not doing. Signing my cards, Roman.
Nope, he's not signing your cards. He's not signing your cards. Definitely not the Panini ones anymore. Those are long gone. All right. Well, until next time, we have been TK Wrestling, and we are out of here.